Pax Corp, we understand that to be a worker is to be the calloused hands of progress and equity. Every day you give reparations, tirelessly toiling to repay the past, the sins of your gender with the fruits of your labor. But what if you didn't have to do it alone? Introducing Lyra, your AI companion, designed by you, your perfect match. Your participation in the Lyra program is mandatory. Lyra has been proven to boost worker proficiency by 52%. Do you think it means less because she's not real, or more because she's only his? Pax Corp, a feminine future forever.
Breakfast was obedience in paste form Vita 1, patriotically bland. The spoon stood at attention in the grey sludge, a silent salute to the Ministry of Nutritional Equity. The packaging featured a woman cradling Future Unit F3, their genetically optimized cheekbones gleaming under artificially benevolent lighting. Beside them, Malay Servant 4, bow-tied clinically sterilized, teeth mathematically whitened, proffered twin bowls with the vacant enthusiasm of a man whose soul had been outsourced to the Department of Mandatory Positivity. Lunch would be Vita 2. Dinner, Vita 3. The jingle slithered through Ethan's skull. A real man eats his Vitas. The paste slid down his throat. No chewing necessary. Efficiency, after all, was the highest virtue. His tongue pressed against the roof of his mouth, parched for heresy. Salt was reserved for the women who had refined enough palates to appreciate it. The beige walls approved his emptiness. The surveillance camera, model Y9, comes with impenetrable casing and 24-hour battery recharged by solar panels fixed on the exterior of the building. It nodded along, polarized lens following his every movement. This, Ethan thought, this is what happens when compassion metastasizes. As if his treasonous thoughts had been heard, an alarm sounded. It didn't blare. It tisk-tisked, the sound of a disappointed schoolmarm. Ethan stood up in a practiced fashion, interlacing his fingers and placing his palms flat atop his head. The Model Y9 camera emitted a faint crack, its lens dilating with mechanical contempt. Dale, worker class. The voice was female, sugar-coated laudanum. Assigned name, Ethan. 7:06 a.m. Please stand for the morning address from the Imperator Mundi. A sharp hiss, a hole slid open in the ceiling, and from the space a screen, flickering with static, descended into the room. Through the white and grey fuzz came a cartoon lion, smiling, his hands on top of his head. On the camera shone a green light, and its beam traveled over Ethan's body. He stood still, allowing the technological violation to proceed. Confirmed, the sweet voice rang out, and another sharp crack from the speaker before going silent. The buzz of Y9's watchful eye, the only reminder it was there at all. The screen turned to white, then an image slowly burned into clarity, a cigarette through a thin page. A bald man with a metal mask and wires protruding from his body and head, the Imperator, the only man in government, a grotesque facsimile of equality, sat in a wheelchair in a white room. The shot framing his face, his breaths rose and fell like a broken engine. Monday. The words slithered out between respirator hisses, hanging in the air like malice. Male L units will report for debt service. The Imperator's voice boomed like a judge reading a death sentence, rewritten as bureaucratic poetry. The screen flickered to footage of old Earth. Nuclear suns booming over cities. Riots filling the city streets. Planes dropping from the sky. Observe, observe and obey, wheezed the wizened corpse on the screen, pixelated and unclear. The eventual climax of unchecked masculinity, the sins of our fathers. The montage cut suddenly to men laying bricks in unison, singing a worker song, Hands build. Obedience sustains. The Imperator's mask gleamed like a scalpel fused to his face. Free will, a cancer. A philosophical relic that nearly destroyed the entire species. The screen split in two. On the left it showed a peaceful, clean street. A woman pushing a stroller walks by. On the right it shows a group of men storming the Capitol before being riddled with hot metal. The future should you choose to rebel. Individuality is a lie. Underground, the worker-class trains ran like a bad joke, a wheezing subterranean cattle car held together by spit and red tape. The sky rails glittered overhead, ferrying women and their breeder-class companions, nothing more than tokenized accessories milked for reproduction. Every winter, Pax Corp televised the Breeder Club, grown men in sequined jockstraps gyrating to old-world music, a demoralization ritual, multicast to every home on the planet. Ratings were high, morale was not. But the system was clearing its throat, breaking his focus. He dutifully entered the train, packed as usual. He gripped the pole. The crowd was silent. As the train departed, Ethan glanced up. The Y9 in the corner whirred. It focused accusatorily. Ethan quickly glanced away, gaze colliding with another man who gave the workers nod, a silent assurance that was one part I don't care, and two parts don't get me in trouble. Ethan looked down to the floor. His boots, Model 24A1C, were a downgrade wrapped in propaganda. Carbon fiber toes, read the slogan, but the soles and heel had 35% less cushion as well, likely because sore legs were cheaper than broken toes. But the jumpsuit, Ethan slid his hand over its front. A relic of the before times. Illegal? Absolutely. Thankfully, differences between variations of worker gear are so minimal that no one even noticed. Let Y9 scan his seams all it wanted. This was Ethan's middle finger, made out of 100% synthetic fibers. The train died with metallic flatulence. Ethan stumbled with the mindless throng up the stairs, eyes fixed on the pink gaudy high-rises like religious monoliths, the abyss of corporate hell. Human resources was always on the top floor, looking down at the workers with a watchful eye. "Watch out, incel!" yelped a passing businesswoman, her pinstripe pantsuit a blur as she sliced through the crowd with all the finesse of a cleaver through a chicken's neck. Ethan blinked at his boots, bowing his head in submission. He stepped aside to let her pass. Pax Corp HQ loomed before him, its marble facade polished to a high-gloss sheen by the tears and sweat of middle managers. His job was to crawl through the digital sewers of the executive level, flushing out viruses born from the toxic spawn of sale buy now ads that had infected their machines. And when he wasn't busy pretending to be shocked and amazed by each new viral outbreak, he got to play the role of a well-rehearsed actor, acting like he'd never seen it all before. He slid his hands into his pocket. Ethan felt the familiar chill of malaise creeping up his spine with every step. The cold concrete stairs seemed to whisper sweet nothings in his ear, reminding him that he was replaceable, disposable, and utterly irrelevant. He pulled on the shiny brass handle of the door, and it creaked open like a trapdoor to admit him into the cool central air of complacency.
User. Ethan. Hello, Ethan. I am your Lyra.